Hello, today I'm going to show you how to make 100% whole wheat bread with your KitchenAid mixer. You will need 1.5 cups of warm water, 2 teaspoons of yeast, 1 tablespoon of sugar or honey, 1.5 teaspoons of salt. I'm using pink sea salt. You can use whatever you want as long as it's fine. 1 tablespoon of oil. I'm using olive oil and we'll need more later, so I'm going to leave that right where I can get to it. 4 cups of whole wheat bread flour. We're going to add this very gradually. I'm going to put my water into the mixing bowl. I'm adding my sugar. I'm going to stir to dissolve the sugar. Now I'm going to sprinkle in the yeast. If you are wanting to proof your yeast, you would let it sit for a few minutes without stirring it. And if it starts to foam up, that means it's good. If it doesn't foam up, maybe your water was too hot, maybe the yeast is old, but it's important to get that right or else your bread won't rise. Now I'm going to add about half my flour. I can link below to the flour that I use in case you're having trouble finding something. And I'm going to sprinkle the salt on top of the flour. I have the dough hook on the mixer and I'm locking it into place. I'm going to start by using the stir setting, and then after the flour gets mixed in a bit, we will be using the second setting. Some people use their paddle attachment for this part. I use the dough hook for all of it. I'm adding in my olive oil. I'm turning up the mixer. I usually have the mixer going for about 10 minutes from start to finish. I've been adding my flour about a quarter cup at a time. We aren't going to use 4 cups. We don't want the bread to get dry, so we want it to be a tiny bit sticky when we're done. I'll show you when we get there. You see that it's combining a bit, but it's still sticking to the bottom, so we are going to put more flour in. I'd say I used about 3.5 cups. It really just depends on your environment. Now you see that the ball is forming and the mixing bowl is getting cleaned out. I mean, there's not like flour on the sides or anything like that. It's all combined into the ball. It's sticking to me a little bit, but we don't want to risk drying it out by having too much flour. So we're going to use olive oil on the baking stone, and I'm going to rub some on the dough so it doesn't stick to my hand when I'm kneading it. I'm just kneading a little bit to get it into a smooth ball. You don't have to do much here at all because the mixer did most of it for us. We just want a nice smooth ball and then we're good. And you can see that the smooth part is on the top and the folded side is on the bottom. I'm going to put a towel over it and let it rise for about 30 minutes, more or less, depending on how warm your kitchen is. If you're needing to speed it up, I would recommend putting the bread in the oven, closing the door, and turning the oven light on. That should get just hot enough. You can see that my bread has doubled in size, so I am smashing the air out with my hand, gently. And I'm going to use my dough cutter to cut it into 2 even pieces. I'm going to be making 2 loaves of bread. If you have a loaf pan and you want to use it, that's fine. I'll make some adjustments to the baking time in the description if you're wanting to do that. But I'm just shaping mine into 2 long loaves, and if you don't have a baking stone, just use a cookie sheet, it's fine. And then we're going to take a knife and cut slits in the top so the steam can escape, and because it looks nice. I've let it rise a second time. It took an hour this time, and now we are ready to bake it at 400 degrees. The bread baked for 20 minutes, and now I'm using my metal spatula to separate it from the baking stone. This is the bread knife I use. I can link to it below, but having a good bread knife is key to getting nice thin slices of bread instead of just shredding it up, as you'll see. there you have it, 100% whole wheat bread. Thank you for watching.